Hey guys, I'm Rebecca Shores, and today I'm going to be showing you my updated eyebrow routine. So I did a couple eyebrow routines before. I know there's a couple on my blog as well as on my YouTube, and I'll link those down below and as well as up in this right-hand corner and let you check those out. But if you want to see how I've been doing my eyebrows lately, this is kind of following my natural brow, so it's a little more natural than I would do, but it's very full. It's not just like, oh, I threw in a little bit of like pencil. It's still very full brow, but I feel like it looks more natural than what I was wearing last year. So if you're interested to see how I apply my eyebrows, then just keep watching. All right, so we're doing a brow tutorial. So you can see this is just my natural brow. I do have some concealer on already. That's where I like to start. I don't like to have eyeshadow on, but I do like to have basically my eye primer on, which is a concealer, so it does kind of cancel out veins, and I have my foundation done, but not powdered. So you can see this is the brow that we are going for, and this is our naked brow that we're gonna be doing. I've done a couple of these. This is pretty much the first step I do no matter what, which is brush my brows kind of up. Because I'm going for a little more of a natural brow, right now my brow hairs are really long. See, you can see they grow pretty long. When I want a more like, I don't know, power brow, something that's much more like firm and in place, I will actually trim these. But when I want a little more of a bushier natural brow, I let my brow hairs just kind of do their own thing. So the first thing I do, I will take a brow pencil. I will use either the Anastasia Brow Wiz in medium brown, or I will use the Sephora one in neutral gray. The biggest difference between these two is the color, and the packaging on the Anastasia one is better. So if I'm going for a slightly darker brow, then I'm gonna use the Anastasia one, and then if I want a lighter, more natural brow, I'm gonna use the Sephora one like I am today. So you can see this is really close to my brow hairs color. And all I'm doing is basically doing little baby strokes upwards. Technically, these pencils are supposed to be for like outlining your brows and actually so like draw a line here. I don't really like to do that in the front of my brows when I want basically the brow style I'm doing right now. So little baby strokes kind of upwards along this inner portion of my brow. When I get here, I do kind of give a little bit of just the transition to my arch, and same with up here. And I'm not really gonna touch the tail with this at all. My hairs grow downwards here, so I switch and I'm doing little downward strokes. I basically am doing strokes in the direction that my brow hair would naturally grow. So the next step, I use a dip brow pomade. I have both medium brown and taupe. Again, it kind of depends on what I want my brows to look like. Taupe is a little bit lighter than my brows hairs, and then medium brown is darker than my brow hair. Sometimes if I want like a perfect match, I'll actually mix the two. So it really just depends what I'm feeling like. For the look I'm going for today, I'm going to be using taupe. So again, a little bit lighter than my brow hairs. I like to take a very, very tiny little bit on my brush when I do these. And so now I will just start filling in more of the tail. So again, using little baby strokes, matching the direction of the brow hair. So one thing I have to be careful with, because my hair is kind of like long on my brows, is making sure that this is actually the direction it's gonna go. I do like to extend the tail, not really extend it, I guess, is just making it look sharper. So I would really carefully just kind of go like bloop on the very end. So we're just kind of pulling that through. I make sure this is what I take kind of through the top of my brow, because again, it's lighter than my hair color. And then I'll do a little bit to just kind of get this area a little more structured. So yeah, I'm pulling it through. Now I grab my spoolie and blend it. And this I do not aggressive blending, but I like blend it pretty well. All right, so at this point, I'm going in with some of the Anastasia Brow Powder Duo, and this is in Ash Brown. I like the Ash Brown because a lot of times when you are in the fairer skin tones, things that are a little more neutral, and especially if they're warm, they lean quite orange. I like this one has a lot of greeny kind of olive tone to it, so it is very true to being ashy on my skin. And I like to take this on this little angled brush. This is a Sephora angled liner. And this basically just makes it look a little more like hairs. So what I'm doing is like super barely touching kind of making little hair-like strokes. This is what I bring through the front of my brows. And this part I'm not really gonna blend. It's just to add a little more texture. So also up here where I want a little more kind of zhuzh, I'm just adding a couple little hair strokes up there. I don't want it to be like perfectly, I don't want it to be a straight line basically. I want to make it look like I just have a little more brow hair. And then pull it down and then follow that line that we made with the taupe. And then I'm usually adding a little bit more. This brow doesn't grow the same, so I usually have to add a little more darkness right here, just so it matches up with my other brow. And then I'm just gonna really lightly blend out. And then because my brow hairs are very long and obnoxious, I always set them with a brow gel. So I just go ahead and pull them in place. Sometimes I'll make them go more like forward like that, but I have to be in the mood. Otherwise I just make them go the direction that they're supposed to go. And that is how I do my brows. And that's the finished brow look. It's not super crazy, but it's not like super natural. I don't know what to call this, but this is how I've been doing my brows. All right, that's it. It's, again, pretty easy. You definitely don't have to use all three of the products I use. Some days I just use the pencil with the powder. I'll just use a pencil with the dip brow. It really kind of depends, but since I was doing a tutorial, I did all three just so you guys can see, but it doesn't really matter. Whatever you do on like your outer ends, you could do that with just the powder or just the dip brow if you want to. And if you have all three products, you could copy exactly what I do. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps me out. You can also subscribe to see more videos. New videos come out every Tuesday and Friday. And you can also follow me on my forms of social media. Those are all listed right here. I'm Rebecca Shores MUA on most and Rebecca K. Shores on a couple other ones. So make sure that you check out this bar right here. And then there's also links to them in the down box. Anyhow, I will see you guys on the next video. See you later.